Here goes nothing, I guess. You know, out of all the killers in Dead by Daylight, a lot of them I look at and I go, yeah, they fit. And Wesker is not that. It's not that there's no horror elements to him or that he is simply out of place. He's just a tad too out there for Dead by Daylight, in my opinion. Sort of in the same way I think Dracula and Vecna were, except D&D is basically just what you want it to be, and Dracula has some horror elements to it. I mean, fuck, that guy is scary. I mean, look at him. Except the only thing that made me kind of doubt this philosophy was when I started to play him, and I realized, oh, he's a decently designed killer. How am I supposed to tell sarcastic jokes on the internet about him now if I actually fucking enjoy him? This video's for you. You know you know who I'm talking about. I wrote this whole fucking video script for you over the last 2.5 weeks, and I'm not throwing it out because I decided to sabotage a relationship. You're here for the long run, bitches. So sit down, grab a snack, grab some water, because you definitely shouldn't be drinking Monster at 2 in the morning, and let me tell you about the Mastermind in Dead by Daylight. The Mastermind's power is the Virulent Bound. Essentially, he is hold M2, click M1 to charge. Yeah, he's kind of simple. Wesker is actually a little bit more convoluted than all of those other M2 press M1 killers, though, because Wesker has a special infection. When you collide into a survivor using your Virulent Bound, you will grab them like they owe you money and dash forward with them. If you hit a surface, you deal damage, and if you don't hit a surface, you throw them, and if they hit a wall, they take damage. And if you don't hit him against a wall, Bill dropped $1 out of his pocket, you fucking poor person. No matter if you hit a survivor against the wall or not, you will always infect them with your special Ouroboros infection. I'm probably saying that wrong. I don't even know what... The Ouroboros infection has 2 stages. The white stage, where it is charging up to begin an ultimate attack, and the red stage, where its ultimate attack is an itty bitty 2% hindered because they decided the 7% was too hard on tunneling. Don't take my words for granted, though. That 2% when you're playing Survivor feels fucking huge. It feels like you still have the 7%. But the real kicker here is when you're at red infection, if the Mastermind hits you with his Virulent Bound, even if you are healthy, you will be put instantly on his shoulder. Your main objective as Wesker is to manage your infections, plain and simple. Wesker mains can deplete your first aid spray supply at 4 gens and leave you starving for resources. Oh wait, I forgot to talk about that. The first aid spray. When the Mastermind is in a match, 4 little chests spawn randomly around the map. Opening them takes, give or take 5 or 6 seconds. It's not that long of an interaction, and it awards you with a first aid spray. Each first aid spray has 2 uses and can cure 1 instance of the Ouroboros infection. You can use it on yourself and you can use it on your teammates. However, when you finish spraying, much like the Nemesis vaccine, the Mastermind will receive Killer Instinct on your location after you finish spraying. You see the reason why managing your infection game is so important now, because it's either insta-down and 2% hindered or information, and both of those are amazing for you as the Mastermind, because information just lets you get more infections. I might get some hate for this, but he is not a hard killer to play at all. His macro play takes learning, but none of it is hard per se. It's all up to the survivors either being dumb or you being overbearing, and at that point, if you're being that overbearing, you've already won, man. I personally think Wesker's on his best game when you are extremely skilled with the Virulent Bound. Much like Chucky's Slice and Dice, you can angle it around walls and surfaces really weirdly if you know the kind of collision text to it. Hell, I even faced a guy that 180'd me off a wall once. You want to know how loud I screamed? You want to know how loud I screamed? Pretty fucking loud. And also, if you're a Chucky player anyway, you should come out in the open, you fucking coward. The baseball bat doesn't hurt that much. Now, with the gameplay in the background, your eyes might have gazed to the bottom right, and you might say, what the hell is that? Well, remember that person I said I made the video for? That Wesker main? Yeah, that's their build. And I've become quite attuned to using it. I think it's a good build. Oh, recommended perks section. Why, thank you, waiter. More water, please. As for perks I'd recommend on the snobby sunglasses man, I'd recommend Bamboozle first, because Bamboozle's primary effect activates on his window vaults with his power. Oh, yeah, I did forget to mention that, but just as a little editor's note, if you virulent bound into a drought pallet or a window, you can vault over it, but I missed that, my bad. But essentially, this means that you can block windows with your power, and it gives you an actual reason to want to vault a window. You can cut off the entirety of Shack if the pallet's already dropped. Even if it's already dropped, if they're going the wrong way, they're going to get hit. Another perk I'd recommend on him is Unforeseen. Unforeseen is a perk from the unknown that activates when you damage a generator. For 30 seconds, that generator has your terror radius, and you become undetectable. Another thing I neglected to mention about Wesker is that he's got the largest terror radius in the game by far. It's 40 meters. You can hear the guy coming from most of the Garden of Joy away. You can use this to your advantage, however, with Unforeseen, because it's such a large terror radius. Eventually, survivors will become halfway used to it because of how big it is. Much like a 40-year-old mother with her vibrator, survivors that become accustomed to the effects of the terror radius no longer pay attention to it that much, and this works double in your favor, in the way that you now have both undetectable and a little trap. The last perk I'm gonna recommend him, my 2 cents, is Hysteria, for the exact same reason as Unforeseen. Hysteria is a nemesis perk that activates when a healthy survivor becomes injured by any means. Every other injured survivor on the map is cursed with Oblivious for about 25 seconds. It's kind of standard. Because he's got the biggest terror radius in the game, Oblivious is the most effective on him. They're going to get so used to using your terror radius to track you and hear you coming that by the time you round that corner with your bound, it's already too fucking late. Oh, you wanted me to talk about his perks and add-ons? Well, I was saving that for the dessert, but if you really wanted it for the entree so you can get out of here quicker, I will oblige. Wesker's first perk is Awakened Awareness. Awakened Awareness activates when you start carrying a survivor, and it reveals the auras of all survivors within 16 meters of you. You wanna know where this is useful? Fucking backpack builds. Unless you're running Adept, you're not getting value out of this. Which it could have been cool, because on Wesker's PTB it had 20 meter range, and it showed you their aura for 3 seconds after they left the range. And you want to know why it got nerfed from the PTB? You want to know why it got nerfed from the PTB? Yeah, it was Nurse. It was fucking Nurse. Why do we have her in the game? Wesker's second perk is Superior Anatomy. After a survivor vaults within 8 meters of you, Superior Anatomy lights up and becomes active. The next time you vault, you do it at 40% extra speed. You want to know where this is useful? On vault builds with Bamboozle and Fire Up. Although I say it sarcastically, it does have use on its own. You can cut off loops really effectively, especially this Shack with an M2 killer like Blight, Demogorgon, or Funny Sunglasses Man. I won't even dog it for a few seconds here. I love using Superior Anatomy. Back when I still needed 4 perks on Demogorgon, my build included Superior Anatomy because of how often it just won me chases. I really do like when behavior designs perks this way, in a way where perks directly counteract a correct play by the survivors, so you can feel like you're backing their pawn into more of a corner. And plus, because this perk isn't tied to a timer, you can save it in your back pocket until you really, really need it in an irksome loop, like a main building or a shack. His third perk is Terminus, and this is by far my favorite of his 3 perks. Terminus activates once the final generator is completed. Every injured survivor will be permanently cursed with the broken status effect, injuring them permanently and making them unable to heal. This effect turns to a 20-second timer after one exit gate is open, however. But I don't think enough people see enough potential in this perk. This means survivors can't 99 the gates, can't teabag you, can't save their friends in the endgame if they're injured. Hell, if you have 4 people injured at one generator and you have this perk, you guarantee that no adrenalines will pop, or adrenalines will pop, but they won't get the health state. I remembered being called a fucking slur by a Twitch partner after activating Terminus against their 4-man's adrenaline. And I think it was that one moment that solidified me how fun this perk was. Not good in any way, but fun. Speaking of fun, I now have an awesome little segue into his add-ons, which I will talk about because I do have some opinions on them. Let's talk about his red ones. The Pink Lab Photo. The Pink Lab Photo allows you to break pallets with your Virulent Bound instead of vaulting them. The recoil on this is actually really fucking short, and I actually really love this add-on a lot, to the point where I think I take it almost every game. The only times I'm not bringing it is when I'm using infection builds. Oh yeah, my second favorite add-on. The green little video conference add-on that makes the infection progress 30% faster. This essentially decreases the time between you hitting a survivor with your Virulent Bound and them turning bright fucking red. If you're gonna use this add-on though, I would recommend using it with his other red add-on, the Iridescent Ouroboros Vial. The Iridescent Ouroboros Vial curses all survivors at the very start of the trial with Ouroboros. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to lay a finger on them. We're not talking about the exposed part, because there's a ton of exposed Eerie add-ons, and I wish they'd stop making them, yada yada yada, but it does expose you for 30 seconds once a survivor turns bright red. The only other add-on I think I'll ever consider using are his little quality of life ones, like the leather gloves that decrease the time to recharge your Virulent Bound tokens by 10%. Or the Lion Medallion, which increases the range survivors are thrown in case you're on a map like Coldwind Farm. Thanks for bringing that offering, Jane. There is one add-on that I will tell you should never bring. And there's a green add-on. There's a fucking green add-on, and Behavior loves making these. Once a survivor turns bright red with full infection, they get blindness for 60 seconds. Blindness, blindness, man. This is insane. Why do we keep making blindness add-ons? Blindness barely does anything. Unless you're that one cowardly motherfucker bringing Knockout or Third Seal, or both if you're really fatherless. But yeah, blindness is kind of useless unless you're using it to slug and be toxic, which with this add-on you kind of can't, because they have to be up and fully infected to get the blindness. Overall, what do I think about this killer? Pretty fucking solid. I think he goes in a low A tier. He's really good, his strengths are awesome, his downsides are minimal, and I think his add-ons and perks are pretty fucking good. I mean, I don't actually like Wesker from Resident Evil as much Gooner bait as Wesker from Resident Evil actually is. In Dead by Daylight, he's pretty alright. I like him. I like playing him. He'll be on my main killer list, in quotes, because my only 2 actual main killers are Demogorgon and Singularity. And that is why you don't write a whole video script for someone. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. This is kind of my first one of this type. I know there's weird quips and weird trips and whatever, but I really thank you all for watching me. It means a lot. I kind of cracked this out over the last 3 weeks. I started the video script for a friend, and then yada yada yada, drama happened, not friends anymore, but I'm just not going to let that video script go to waste, you know what I'm saying? Because this was actually a really fun video, and I actually really wanted to make it. Because I'm going to do this. And my next one will probably be on Demogorgon, most likely, because that is my big main. But, nevertheless, I hope y'all have a great rest of your night, evening, day, wherever you are. Just have it, enjoy it. Life's a gift, and every day's a new opportunity to do better. Alright, love y'all. Peace.